Peace and blessings, family. Happy Sunday. I hope y'all having a great weekend. I wanted to tune in here today. I've been super busy. Really busy, but in a great way. Been in a lot of meetings. Got new groups that have started. Training some awesome folks. I'm so excited about. And my aunt is here, and she is. Just been wonderful. She's out here visiting from the East Coast, and I am really, just really grateful about having my aunt here, learning a lot of family history, we're sharing a lot, and she has really given me a lot of awesome insight. Um, and I will talk about that a little bit this morning. I'm probably not going to be on too long because I got a lot of running around to do still. But I wanted to kind of come and talk to you all just a little bit this morning, because I just like the way life is going. I like where things are right now, and I'm feeling really good about it. So um, I want to talk a little bit about family, about history of your own families, and what do you do with that? Somebody, I'm really big on learning about your family history and everything, the good, the bad, the indifferent, all of it. All of it. I think that it is really important for us to know what happened in our families. What was your grandmom's life like? What was your grandfather's life like? Where you from? And not the fantasy pieces, because for some reason, not all of us, I do use words like some and those and fewer. It's been my experience. I never say in the whole, excuse me, for the most part. But I think it is super important to know uh, what happened to our families and how did people survive. So I'm one of those people where I'm a researcher, but I also like to travel to places to gain the information that is needed. I don't like generic history. I don't like it when people assume what happened to them happened to me. I think that's a bad thing. And we have sometimes a habit, some of us, as Black people, of doing that sometimes. Like we'll be like, but this is what happened to us all. And we all have to, and it's like, it really didn't go down like that. So I'm really grateful to my aunt and spending this time with her, because she's really talked to me a lot about my father. Because my father, to me, did not talk a lot about his upbringing and where he was from and where he lived. And I mean, I heard bits and pieces, but I didn't really know a lot about my father's side. My mother's side, I know a lot. It's just something about this is something I learned from my aunt. So I'm one of those people who feel like you should know everything about your mom or as much as she'll tell you. So I know a lot about my mom. I don't know everything, but I know a lot. And so my aunt yesterday, in talking with her, we drove to South Lake Tahoe, and we drove up there and we had lunch at the Hard Rock Cafe and kind of walked around, played the casino. It was just like a lot of little fun stuff. But the conversation in the car and at lunch. And she really talked about her upbringing and how she was not really close to her mother. So I had never, and I really love my aunt. Like she's like one of my favorite aunts. You're not supposed to have favorites, but I do. But she really helped me to understand the importance of your relationship with your mother and how that impacts the person you become, particularly if you are a girl or woman, right? So she told me, she was sharing with me that, they didn't really grow up with their mom, so, or their father, you know what I mean? So, and so this was like in the 1950s, 1960s. So it's not the foster care system that we have now. And what I really began to learn and understand more than anything else is the impact that can have on one's psyche. So, she was saying that it was seven girls, one died. So it was six girls at this point. Well, then what was really one, two, three of them who was in foster care, and then my dad makes the fourth, um, or in the orphanage. She basically said that they made a pact that they would never ever leave their families. And my aunts are still married to the same person they married in 1960 or 70 or whatever they got married. they're still with that person, or if the person's not deceased. And I just thought that, like, wow, sometimes you never understand why people are, why they are wired the way that they are wired. Why they choose to, even when she was married to my uncle for 40 some odd years, like close to 50 years, and I'm pretty sure they had some struggles. When I asked her, was there ever a thought of her leaving her husband or divorcing? I said, divorce. She said, never, the thought never crossed her mind. Everybody has struggles, you know what I mean? So they had some struggles, but she said, I never once thought about leaving my husband, divorcing him. I thought that was like, wow, because sometimes we talk about marriage and we don't even know how serious marriage really is. Like we really don't understand that. Everybody wants to get married, everybody want to have a white dress, and the big old wedding. But she talked about how that was never really a thought in her mind, even when they was having these struggles in their marriage. So I thought to myself, wow, that's just beautiful. You know what I mean? A lot to be learned. And I feel like maybe in this time we're in, maybe you should talk to your elders in your family, those who want to talk. There's always one or two that will tell you the truth. But the others maybe took a vow of silence. There's always one or two who did not. And so I really I don't know, I just really think it's important for us to have those conversations with our elders if you can. Look at that history, not the history we talk about what we mix with, and like all of that is don't even make no damn sense because it don't really determine anything. Thanks to my other good friend who's mixed, but she was like, that didn't really mean nothing in my house. We were just black people. So I feel like sometimes we come up with all of these alter states of mind because the trauma be so big. And then sometimes we don't want to deal with who we are. But I'm so grateful for my auntie. I'm so grateful that she chose to come out here and spend time with us. I'm so grateful that she's sharing with us, like, their journey and her journey. And I'm just like, wow. So going to Tahoe yesterday was really incredible, South Lake Tahoe. But the interesting thing was, I guess on the other side of the mountain where we were in South Lake Tahoe, it was a huge fire. So when we first drove up there, the sky looked great. You know what I mean? Because it's like got there, it's like around noon-ish or so. But then, after we came out of lunch or whatever, you could see all the black smoke on the mountain. And so, in our black people fashion, we were like, I think it's time for us to go up a mountain. So we did stop and see the water. We did stop on our way going down, because I guess there was a huge fire that was zero contained. So I was like, oh, okay, time for me to go. But it was just really nice. So if you haven't, take that drive. It don't cost a lot. Go out. I think sometimes as some black folks, we kind of suffer from being in our environment, like in terms of tightly knit to it, instead of going out to where there's some trees or sitting by the water or just, listen to some soft music. Turn down all the hyping music. Turn down all the hype for just a minute and get in touch with yourself. Like just in terms of just get in touch with nature. Like hear the birds singing, hear the water rushing. Like that to me was like well worth it. Every time I take a drive or go to a place like South Lake Tahoe, like Mendocino County, like Marin County, I think to myself, we have all of these beautiful open spaces, and yet we are so cluttered in the city. Or people are fighting for houses. Every time I see homeless people all over the place, I say to myself, like, wow, we have all of this land. Why do we have people that are unhoused? Like, I personally don't understand that. That's just me. I really, really struggle with that. I really struggle with why we have certain issues. But then I'm always reminded, because I'm just, spirit on the journey, that that's all a part of, I guess, this experience. But how do I want to? Because I know I have to really take care of myself in order to be of service to others the way I like to be of service. When I sit with my great nieces and nephews, I'm very grateful when I look at their smiles, when I see them running wild, you know what I mean? Like I have a little nephew, his energy is so high. He makes me remember my own inner child. You know what I mean? He helps me to understand that there was a time in my life where I had that bright eyed, bushy kind of everything is possible. Like, you know what I mean? And then as you get older, the world kind of beats you down, and then you start to be very skeptical and, you know, you don't trust anything. So I'm really working hard to check that part of myself. Like, learn to stop being a damn critic all the time. Like, don't be trying to crush people because you feel some way about what you faced or where you've been. I have to keep telling myself stuff like that because sometimes it does get hard. Like we were talking about that vaccination shot, and I'm not trying to bully nobody into taking shots. See, I don't believe in scaring people into doing something. So I think when you do that, that means something could be wrong. But I feel like if people, we're all co-creators in this. You know, I feel like if you feel some way, wear your mask, even though I don't know how healthy that mask is. Okay. But I also know that, you know, I don't know, we just have to be very careful. I know that the president is upset about misinformation. I thought to myself, you know how much misinformation Black folks live with every day? You know how much misinformation we're taught at school? And now you're upset about misinformation about the virus? And then who knows, 50 years from now, we're going to find out that this was something else. I don't know. So if people do feel some way about the virus, that's their right. I think the hypocrisy about America is that we say this is the land of the free and home of the brave, but we don't allow people to exercise that. I'm gonna say that again. We say this is the land of the free and the home of the brave, but we don't allow people to exercise that because there's always this thing like you want us to be uniformed. I was talking with Yakiel this morning, and I always like talking because he's very knowledgeable. And he's in Australia, so we're talking, and he was explaining some terms like fascism and dictatorship. And, you know, and sometimes we put all of these characteristics to a dictator. You know, like he's gonna look mean, he may be big, he may, you know, but we never think about a senile old man that's on script that's trying to save us, you know, but we don't know if that could be a dictatorship. We don't know if that's going to be fascism. We don't know because when you're trying to control a thought, that's kind of scary. You know, I like for people to tell me what they're really thinking. I don't want you to lie to me. I don't want you to show up with me and tell me what you think I want to hear, and then I don't know how you really feel. You know, so I don't know. I feel like when you're African American in the United States, you need to be very, very clear about what it is that you believe and how you feel. It's okay for you not to trust everything somebody says. I don't care who it is. I don't care. I love LeBron James. He's fabulous. But I wouldn't trust everything he said. You know, there's some people I really like. I don't believe in messiahs. I don't believe in, oh, this person is the best leader for Black. I don't believe in any of that. I think every man and woman has to lead themselves. Now you could take instruction and guide from people. I do that a lot, but I don't see people as like the end up. Nobody's a God, nobody's the Messiah, nobody's the Savior. I don't believe in any of those concepts. I think you have to save yourself. You are your Messiah. You know, you are the great Mahdi or whatever. That is you. And other people are just guides. They just kind of give you information as you move along. That's the way it works. You cannot put all of your stuff on somebody else and then expect a great result for yourself. No, you have to do the work yourself. You really do. Good morning, beautiful. You know, you really have to do the work yourself. You really do. And so I felt like as we were driving through South Lake Tahoe and I looked at all the families up there, and I thought to myself, we got to get to that place as a people, you know, or at least in your community. Sometimes I feel funny even saying as a people because I don't think Black people are one people. I think in America, people push us together. That's why you see all of this friction between diaspora Africans and African Americans. You know what I mean? And, you know, ADOS and Foundational Black America, the indigenous thing just don't make no sense to me. But, you know, so when you see all of this kind of stuff, it's kind of like, yeah, because being Black in America is, they make you feel like you're together, but you're really not. I mean, that's okay too. But I feel like we have to be very, very honest about what our existence have been. And I don't know about y'all, I really do know my family history, particularly on my mother's side. I know that. I mean, I could show you all the women's some of their pictures and their stories and the good, bad, and the different. And I know it all. And I don't fantasize about what it was like for them because I knew it was hard. And so when I look at my own life, I'm very clear about who I am. I'm very grateful for who I am. And I'm so thankful to the line. And I'm going to work like hell for my descendants. So my great nephew was growing up. I want him to feel rooted and very proud of who he is. I want him to love himself so hard. Right on, right on. So I feel like that is so important, family, to put the work in. Working. I'm a real worker. I don't want to do the fantasy stuff. I don't want to show up and look like my life is fabulous, because it's fabulous, it's awful, it's great, it's sad, it's all of those because that's a human condition. It's a part of your emotion. It's a part of your system. You're supposed to experience all that stuff. The trick is to raise the vibration while you're going through it. So for me, one of the ways I raise my vibration, I love spending time with my great nephews. Right now, I just have great nephews. I mean, that I'm around most. Um, I love like just being in their energy. They remind me of how new the world is. No matter where I'm at in the stage of the world, they remind me how new it still is. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful. And when my nephew says the funniest things to me, it just makes me laugh. Like I love his wit. I love to watch him try I watch my one nephew, he's really in love with things that spin. And he's in the speed. He's like two, but he runs so fast. I mean, he's hilarious. But he loves anything that spins. Like the fan was in Tahoe, and they had these um, chimes, if you will, and I mean, it was beautiful. So I videotaped it and I'm gonna show it to him. I thought to myself, that wonder, I want him to always keep that. I want him to dream his biggest dream and feel like it could happen. I don't want him to live in the naysayer world. I'll practice personally myself, staying away from naysayers. When people try to tell me that I can't do something, I run so fast from them. It's almost like I look at them like, gotcha. And then I quietly move away. Because I want good vibrations. And you can feel that when you meet people. You can feel their vibes. You can feel if this person is somebody you may want to hang around or you may want to run from. You can really feel that. You really can, because I know I can. So I just feel like, you know, on this Sunday, I am so grateful. It's supposed to be close to 100 degrees today. And I already got the air started on low. Um, we'll get some things done around this house. I have some friends I'm going to hang out with later on. I'm doing this rites of passage, so I'm working on that really hard. I'm gonna continue to take our young women through some things in their life that they desperately need. Like I'm so excited about my position because one of the things I learned in watching my mom's life, watching my ancestors' lives, is that a lot of them didn't have the opportunity to just be. Some of them worked till they died. Some of them when they couldn't really retire right because then it was like it was done. For me, everybody has their expiration date because I know I have one as Rolanda Wilkins, and it's okay. But damn it, I want to leave something that my nieces and nephews and my descendants and the young people I work with and touched and through my work, I just want them to see some other kind of blueprints and to have such a connection to who they are and the communities to which they belong that they claim. I want them to understand they can create the world that they want and they can create the people in it, like in terms of what they want those people to be like in their circle. You don't have to keep people who are negative, who smile in your face and then talk about you because you don't make them the center of your life. Like, no, it's okay. It's okay to be lonely and to be by yourself sometimes because I feel like when that happens, that means you need to probably reflect on yourself. So it's okay for you to be by yourself. It's really okay. Every time I go on the juvenile hall on my days and work with those young women, I bring it to them. But I also let them know, yeah, you're here in juvenile hall, but maybe this is your break. Maybe when you go back out there in the world, you're going to have a different game plan. And you don't have to come back in here. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like in our society, we don't do that. When I was coming up with elders, that's what they gave me. My elders really gave me a sense of, I don't have a lot like to give you with money, but I can give you all the wisdom and knowledge that I have. I can share with you some of the mistakes that I made because I really didn't know any better. But I'm going to give it to you and you can figure out what to do with that. Man, I'm so grateful. Thank you. I'm so grateful, like just for them pouring into me when I didn't even realize they was doing it. That happens to me to this day. I could be somewhere and an elder would see me or something, and they would just speak to me. It's like they would look into me in a certain way, and I just feel so grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the encounters when they've come through young people. Sometimes they come to me through young people. So when I'm looking at young people who have experienced maybe some traumatic things, and then I speak to them, I can almost see the light bulb like go back on or flicker, you know, because I'm trying to give them some tools to help them brush off or dust off what happened to them. You know what I mean? That experience don't have to break you. They don't have to make your life what you think it should be based on the experience. That's what I'm grateful. That's what my ancestors gave me. You know, that's what they gave me. And so I really don't have the right to act like nobody never done nothing for me. I can never say ain't nobody helped me. I can never say that. Because all of this time they've been looking out for me. I've traveled to other countries all by myself. And people have looked out for me like they knew me. Maybe they did. One time when I was in Costa Rica and I was determined to get to the so-called black part, was in the Pacific part or the Atlantic part of the country, sorry, on that side. And I got to the bus station very early in the morning because I was going to go into another part of this country. And an old black woman was there waiting as well for this place to open so we can buy our bus tickets and go to Le Monde. And the woman came up to me and she said to me in Spanish, which I didn't speak at the time because I was there to learn Spanish. Thank you, sis. She asked me basically if I could purchase her ticket so she could sit down because we were in line. And I didn't get that in Spanish. And then she said it to me in English, but she had like that patois accent. And then, and then I said, oh, yes, ma'am. So, I bought her ticket. And so when we got on the bus, this woman, I ended up staying with her every weekend. So I was there for a month while I was in Costa Rica. Like I stayed at her home, at her husband. They were just awesome people. And it turned out that they were Garveyites, or her parents were Garveyites. And they also had the same last name as my great-great-grandmother. They were Parks. And it was just so awesome. Like I really enjoyed their time together. But this woman took care of me. You'd have thought that she knew me forever. I mean, they did. I mean, I was like, wow, they were just so awesome. I really, really, really loved the fact that I met her that day and we were able to stay in contact a little bit. Now they're ancestors now, but you know, I was in a whole other country by myself, didn't know nobody. I was there trying to learn Spanish. I stayed in the Athenas. But I really, I was just so grateful. Them black folks took care of me in Costa Rica. Like this lady took me all around the moon, and that was when we had that tsunami. That was like 2004, something. We had a tsunami, and I could see it hitting the wall, but I didn't know it was a tsunami. They were just telling us to stay away from the wall because the water is coming up over the wall where we were. So, I'm just sharing that with you because, I've traveled a lot of places and did not know a soul, and people just took care of me. And I like to believe that those were my ancestors appearing in other people, making sure my life was all right. That's happened to me in Mexico. That happened to me in Honduras, Costa Rica, Nicaragua. I could name all of it. In Africa, that's happened to me. you know. So that's all, family. I just want to check in with y'all today. I'm gonna try to get started on this day. I got a lot of stuff to do. But I just want to take some time this morning to come to you all. I'm also doing a bunch of revamping. I'm doing some interviews. And then I'm also going to be revamping this and putting together another crew. So join me on Sunday morning so we can talk about various topics. But I'm very grateful. I'm in the land of gratefulness. I can't even tell you how grateful I really am. So family, I hope y'all have a great day. And remember to take care of yourself because you are all that you have. All right, peace, family.